You see what I'm saying? So my point is, the energy is out there now, but it needs someone to channel it.
35,000 books, one man's life, work locked away. Dr. Yosef Ben Jochannan gave us the blueprint to freedom through knowledge.
You see what I'm saying? So my point is, the energy is out there now, but it needs someone to channel it.
You can't fight the teacher and learn. There's a discipline in study, and we have to learn. The damage has been done to us and still being done, but we ourselves got to take this. We have to go through the principle of educating ourselves. And our parents got to do it. I'm sure your parents did it and other parents did it. There is a discipline we got to go back to. And I said that the basic thing we have to do is to stop letting the damage, what he's talking about, to continue by saying, I'm not going to the classroom because they're going to say this. You don't have, when you go to the classroom, you're going to have racism. Don't care where you go, you're going to find racism in the system. The system is racist. But you got to get in there to count, you know what I mean? To learn to read and so forth. So that you got to get that bad with the good.
But now his legacy sits in the hands of the Nation of Islam.
So Shabazz was not permitted to stay in that area, so he took his family into the jungle of East Asia, which we now call Africa, to make a people close to nature. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said this is the origin of kinky hair, because we didn't have kinky hair prior to that. The hair on our head was like the hair on our eyebrow.
Dr. Ben was no prophet, he was a truth teller who rejected saviors and systems.
Biggest part of the controversy, and I could be in no better place for this. My attitude towards religion. Number one, you would find men from this university and other such universities, shadow of European universities, who will come to Egypt after, of course, going home to Israel, such as our mayor in New York, and our congressman that lives in the same building I live when I'm living in the United States, Charlie Rangel, are going home to Israel to make sure that Israel is still there when Saddam Hussein is finished.
Why would his African humanism be guarded by a theology he never followed? Who decides what future generations will see and what gets erased? When you control the books, you control the story. And when you control the story, you control the mind. This is Watermelon TV, where we protect the ancestors from erasure. Tune in as we expose why Dr. Ben's knowledge must be liberated, not locked away. Black and proud, black and free.
All right, family, let's talk legacy. Not gossip, but legacy. Dr. Yosef Ben Jochannan, one of America's greatest historians to walk this earth, left behind 35,000 books. An archive of our ancient story, our cosmology, our African memory. But you know, recently, at least recently for me, I just learned that this collection, the spiritual DNA of our people and our journey, was left in the hands of the Nation of Islam. Now, on the surface, that might sound honorable. You got a black organization, black stewardship, black unity. But beneath the symbolism, I can see a problem. A culture and a philosophical problem. that could bury Dr. Ben's true message under a mountain of ideology. Dr. Ben wasn't just an Afrocentric teacher. He was a revolutionary intellect. He spent decades proving that Kemet, Ethiopia, and Nubia were the root of civilization. He taught that the black men and women were the first architects of religion, science, philosophy, and spirit. His mission was liberation through knowledge, not through dogma. He wanted black people to reclaim their divinity by studying evidence, not by submitting to hierarchy. So when I hear that his life's work is now under the custodianship of a religious institution, any institution, I start to worry about the reshaping of the narrative, because we've seen it time and time again. We've seen the reshaping of narratives from UFOs, UAPs, to science, engineering. It's always a narrative, especially when it's dealing with the black people in the Western Hemisphere, in America. So the Nation of Islam has done powerful community works. Their discipline in small business structure, but ideologically, it's not African-centered. Its theology comes from, it's not African-centered. Its theology comes from Wallace Farad Muhammad and Elijah Muhammad, not from Kemet, not from the Nile Valley. So Dr. Ben rejected prophets and saviors. He rejected any ideology or theology that disconnected the black mind from its Nile source. If his 35,000 books are filtered through a Nation of Islam lens, what happens to the Kemetic, Nubian, Ethiopian essence of that work? Will future generations read Dr. Ben as an African-centered humanist or as a proto-Muslim scholar who aligned with Elijah Muhammad's vision? That's the danger. When institutions hold archives, they also hold interpretation power. So we've seen this story before. Ancient scrolls taken by colonizers, revolutionary writings buried by the church, and now perhaps Pan-African scholarship absorbed by religious nationalism. When you control the archive, you control who gets access and how truth is framed. Imagine a young student wanting to read Dr. Ben's Black Man of the Nile, but they go through it and it's the Nation of Islam channels, where only the parts compatible with their ideology and theology are emphasized. That's how revision begins. We can't let Dr. Ben's legacy become another controlled narrative. His books belong in the African-run public archives, open to all, researchers, believers, or not guarded behind ideological walls. Dr. Ben's 35,000 book library isn't just a collection, it's a spiritual engine. It holds our timeline from the Nile to Harlem, from temples to the tenements, leaving that in the hands of one organization. No matter how powerful, risk turning open knowledge into controlled doctrine. Family, if we truly honor Dr. Ben, we must fight for his works to remain public, African, Black, to remain public, Black, and free. Because the real Nation of Islam, the real Nation of Kemet, and the real Nation of Africa is the human mind lived by Melanin TV. Question everything, honor ancestors, and never let anyone, not even your own institutions, rewrite your history. Now,
Is Brother Yusuf Ben Yochanan here? Could you hold for just 1 minute, please? The elder statesman, the greatest living black historian, one of our great scholars, Dr. Yusuf.
you know, I could just take a quick, I'm looking at, it looks like everybody was ready to leave, and then they asked Dr. Ben to come up. You know, so it's like, I guess, you know, who and what he was, y'all all about Islam and your uniformity. And, you know, we see it, man. We see past it. And I'm not going to disrespect you, brothers, but it's like, yo, y'all got to teach the next generation to catch up to the black consciousness. And beyond. The black consciousness and beyond. Let's keep going.
Ben Yochanan. He wanted to say something to all of us, and I would like us to be respectful of our elder.
You see, you know, you bring him up there when because I think he was 80 then. What happened to him in the 60s? So that's why it's like we just got to be careful of these fly foxes. I'm not going to disrespect and use the ad hominem words, but it's sly fox. Black consciousness superseded the Nation of Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. We have superseded y'all. It's time for y'all to catch up. So will the works of Dr. Ben, I mean, let's give it 5 years. 2030. I'm not even looking for infinity. In 2030, will black consciousness still be uttering a spell from Kemet or Dr. Ben's library? One or the other. Let's keep going.
And hear what brother has to say. This is really today the father of black historical consciousness. This man, more than any, has written the most scholarly works on the history of our struggle. We ought to make his life as comfortable and peaceful and let him know how much we thank God for the womb that bore him and for the loins out of which this great man came. He wanted to say a word to us, so let us listen.
I regret that my speech isn't as it used to be. But I'm a man that lives in a library instead of an apartment. I have...
Yo, that's what I want to be. I want to live in a library instead of an apartment. And that's what I've made for myself so far. Watermelon TV. Like and subscribe to the channel, bitch. Nah, this is serious. This is serious. This is serious. Let's go.
About 35,000 books. I have a few hundred books, engineering books. I don't have mother and father. My people, my father's people, was born in Ethiopia, and they had run out. My mother's people are born in Puerto Rico and don't give a hoot about me. I have looked for a place to put my books, a black place. I've looked in Georgia. Everywhere there is black people supposedly owning universities and colleges. I haven't found none. I looked in the United States. I haven't found any. But I looked and I listened a few days. From the time I went, not that I hadn't heard, but from the time 3 or 4 weeks ago, I went to 135th Street, 125th Street and 5th Avenue. I have been invited many times by Brother Farrakhan to come to Chicago to Father's Day, and I've turned it down. I always wear a hat out of respect. Tonight I refuse to wear the hat. And I'm going to say this. I'm meeting with my children, and I'm going to tell them the mosque, the 127th Street, can come to the house, send a representative, and so forth. I will give you any time you come there my engineering books that I went to college. That's how I started out. And I generally go to Al Sharpton Place. But I'm giving you now, you can take these, my engineering books now. And I'm saying, when I passed away, because I'm going to die, I'm 83 years old. All the other books, and they are works that the big college, the black college in Georgia, and many.
You know, man, when I see this, man, it's like the Nation of Islam. Y'all should have been working with Dr. B. If it was really a grassroots movement, like they want us to think, they should have been working together. And just let the chips fall. If we gotta become, you know, if they want to come all-out war against us, they're doing it anyway. Well, it's not all-out war, it's covertly. This is why, you know, but let them come do it. Man, the Black Conscious Movement and Nation of Islam, y'all gotta, you know, for real, man, it's time to take them suits off. It's time to fatigue up. It's time to fatigue up. The Nation of Islam, I'm talking to you. It's time to fatigue up. Like, what's really going on? We talking about us over here in the West, where the sun sets, death and murder lies. Come on, man. Nation of Islam, let's go.
Don't have. I have books that goes back to the 16th century, and they belong to you and the nation of black people.
You hear that? You hear that? He said the nation of black people. He didn't say the Nation of Islam. He didn't say the Nation of Islam. He said the nation of black people. You and me in America. Yo, Watermelon TV, man. Stay tuned for part 2.